Well, I did a lot of paper rounds as a kid, and I remember even when I felt like I was terrible in school, I used to go on the way back from school. I used to have a little Bradford and Bingley little bank slip where I'd go and put money in because I'd sell stuff at school and do paper rounds and whatnot. And I had a little bit of money, not a lot of money. I think when I was about 13, 14, I had like maybe £1,000, and I was just obsessed with just growing this as much as it could go as a kid, just for fun. And I remember one of my school teachers, and I remember showing her my Bradford. I went, hey, look at this. And she said, that's more money than I've got. And that kind of gave me self-esteem because it made me think, I am good at something. I might not be very good in class. I might not be very good at lots of subjects, but hey, I got more money than my teacher. So that was, I guess, the first, okay, maybe I'm good at making money. Maybe I can be an entrepreneur. And then my grandma looked over at my granddad, and I was like, I could tell from the way they looked at each other that they had the money. It's only 15,000, and I was thinking, damn, sometimes things are right under your nose. You don't realize it. And you don't realize it. So many people are trying to raise finance, and they'll go to networking events. But hang on, what about your family? So my grandma and my granddad, my dad's parents, when I was like 19, 20, they loaned me 15 grand.
Wow, bless you.
And that was a loan. It wasn't a gift. They wanted interest, of course. So I agreed to pay them 10% a year for 5 years. And at the end of the 5 years, when I went to pay them back, I was like really grateful that they lent me the money. Obviously, at this point, I was doing really well. I think I was actually I was a property millionaire. I had a £1 million portfolio, so I was doing well. And then I met with them and I said, hey, thank you so much for lending me the 15 grand. I said, give me your bank details, I'll send it back. And they were like, well, we don't want it back. And I said, what do you mean? They said, well, every time you've been paying us £1,500 a year, we've been using that money to go on a cruise. And it's like a free cruise. So keep it for another year.
I know you invest in lots of business adventures, but why property is your main source of income, if I may?
Because I think property is the best and the most stable. I've got a lot of investments in businesses, but it's possible that those businesses, if I invest in a business, that business could collapse and be worth nothing. Whereas if I invest in a house, even if it collapses, the land still holds its value. Even if the house burns down, I've still got the land, which is actually the majority of the value. So the fact that it is so difficult to be taken off of you, the fact that you can rent it out and there is such a shortage of it, it's just a brilliant business and brilliant investment. And of course, being able to afford affordable homes for people. And one of the things that we do is we build a lot of houses as well. So we're not just buying up houses and buying up streets, and taking away from first-time buyers and pushing the prices up. We're actually building houses and buying run-down homes that have been abandoned for decades and restoring them. And buying commercial properties that are eyesores and public nuisances and converting them into apartments to provide affordable homes and serviced apartments. And so I think I'm getting rich, but I really do believe that I'm making a difference into the economy positively as opposed to negatively, which is important as well. When you start making, I pay myself a salary. So no matter how much money my business makes, my salary doesn't change.
Of course.
So, and I'm making many millions. And it gets to a point where you've got to think, rather than just looking at how can I make more millions, you've got to think, actually, how can I, continue to grow my business, continue to get rich, but how can I actually have a business model that is going to leave a legacy and going to make a positive difference to the communities? And I think that for me is really important.
You said your wife, Amanda, is your business partner. I know it's difficult to work as a business partner with your wife or husband. How's that going with you?
Brilliant. My business partner is my brother Russell and my wife Amanda, and also Russell's wife Anna, and the four of us run the business. I mean, me and Russell tend to, we're the sort of faces and the aggressive drivers of the business. But they say don't work with family, but actually I think that for me it's been a beautiful thing.
Okay, good. So how have you been able to distinguish family life and business?
Everything is all one. So I don't compartmentalize things and say, this is business, this is personal, everything's just life. And my business is a lifestyle. So, you know, me and my wife constantly talk about business. We don't think, right, let's have a break now and not talk about business for an hour. Why? We're happy.
So it becomes one then?
Yeah, it's one.
So suppose you're going on holiday and do you take probably a day that you can say, Amanda, today, no business conversation.
No.
Let's just be us. You don't have that. You don't do that, right?
No.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
It's not deliberate.
Yeah.
We might, listen, when we're on holiday, we're just playing on the beach and, you know, going out to restaurants. We're not always talking about business, but we don't feel like we have to say, no business, no phones. Nah, it's cool. It's chill, man. I'm constantly, I love business.
Brilliant.
We love it. It's a passion.
So you are a multi-millionaire, but why do you want to be more successful?
Because the moment enough is enough and you think you've arrived at the top of the mountain and there's nothing left to achieve or do, you fall miserable and life becomes meaningless and unfulfilled. There has to always be a next goal, a bigger thing, a bigger purpose. So until I die, I always envision myself wanting to grow things to a new level and have new challenges and new targets and continue pushing myself to be the best possible version of myself I can be.
But why do you want to push yourself? You're already successful. You live in an amazing house.
Because what's the fun of saying, I've arrived now? Now what? People think that wouldn't it be lovely to just sit on the beach and do nothing and chill out and have no responsibilities and no stresses? Actually, I think it would drive me mad.
Have you ever worked for people? If so, how have those jobs shaped you to be the person you are today?
I've had a few jobs. My first job ever was I used to clean snooker tables when I was 16. I did that while I was working also for my dad for a bit of extra money. Obviously worked for my dad. Also, I worked, after getting into property, I worked as an estate agent for maybe about 5-6 months. And I realised that having a job is really hard. It's really difficult being employed.
Yeah.
People think, being a millionaire is difficult. Well, yeah, it is. It is hard. But so is being poor. Everything's hard.
Yeah.
So I realised that, you know, sometimes the grass is always greener. And sometimes... Even when the other day I was out for dinner and I was watching the waitress and she was running around and she looked like she was working really hard and I thought, she probably works the same hardness as I work. So why am I making more money? It's because I'm not just working hard, I'm also working smart.
Correct.
So as an employee, you've got to ask yourself, if you worked as hard on your own business as you do at the moment for your employer on your job, how rich would you be? Probably very rich.
Absolutely. At a young age, if someone would have asked you, what was your dream? What would that have been?
To be a dustbin man.
Really? Why dustbin man then?
I didn't have a dream when I was a kid. When I was at school, I didn't have a dream. I just wanted to get by and live life and be happy. Work outside, you know. I didn't have a dream. I'd never envisioned that I would ever be a multimillionaire. And I think that it's nice to just have a dream that's just, you can see it, it's not too far away, and then when you get to it, then set another dream.
Yeah.
And just keep pushing, because you don't know where you're going to be in 5-10 years' time. People talk about 10-year goals, I think it's stupid.
Yeah, it's too long.
Yeah. Have a month goal, or a year goal at most.
Yeah.
And then when you smash it out of the park, then set another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then you look down and go, wow, I've climbed high.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you bad at?
What am I bad at? I'm bad at... I don't really know, actually. That's a good question. I don't really think about what I'm bad at. I just focus on what I'm good at. If I'm bad at something, I'll pass it to someone else to do. I mean, I'm not very good at lots of things. I'm not very good, even basic things like I don't know how to tie my own shoelaces still. Tying my shoelaces is a proper chore. So that's why I wear pumps. Yeah. So I don't have to. If I'm bad at something, I just create my life in such a way and maneuver things where I don't have to do it, or someone else does it.
Brilliant. I like that. So it's about eliminating and automating things that you're not good at.
Exactly.
So that's good.